What is going on, everybody? You have Tone here, the coach of the main Red Clodsers, and I am back bringing you guys NPL Minors Season 5, Week number 2. This week, we are taking on one of the newcomers to the NPL Minors, an Illusion coach of the Las Vegas Venusaurs. If you guys missed the last battle for Week 1, you could tell by our record and our differential that we did not do well at all, getting 6-0 by Mega, which I did kind of deserve for the way I prepped and played. But in my opinion, it's better I get the bad loss out the way now and then, because the only one way to go from here is up. So we're taking on Illusion and the Las Vegas Venusaurs. As I mentioned, Illusion is a very strong battler in his own right as a member of the Hive, one of those well-known but non-upload required leagues. And he has proven himself quite admirably, especially his first week in the minors. He got a solid win, and his team is very, very difficult to prep for because it is stacked with offensive threats that I really don't like to face, but I feel as though I can handle it pretty adequately, in my opinion. So truth be told, I didn't really have a good mindset when it came to building this team, because I didn't know where to start, because I was so worried about how not to get overwhelmed by Illusion's offense. I didn't really think of the mindset of, at that time, of instead of worrying about how I'm going to deal with his offense, I was instead thinking about now, how is he going to deal with my offense? So my offense, his defense, let's start with that. His defensive mons consist of Empoleon, Porygon 2, Gligar, and Gligar, Slowbro, and Rhydon as well. And to a lesser extent, you also put Vileplume in there as well. I'm not really expecting Vileplume, but I'll get to that in a minute. So that's pretty much his defense. And just going down that list, those Pokemon I mentioned do struggle with the combination of Kommo-onium plus Scolipede plus Mamoswine. So yeah, we are bringing Mamoswine this time. I'm making sure that, so I went to the mindset of, okay, so I started with Mamoswine initially because it pretty much had a great matchup against Illusion just for the priority and Ice plus Ground and such great coverage. So Empoleon, Earthquake, Porygon 2, Superpower, Slowbro was an issue, and Gligar dies to Ice Crash, and then Vileplume gets hit by Ice Crash too, same thing with Rhydon. So the thing with Mamoswine is it struggles with Slowbro. In comes my Scolipede, which I can run Z Megahorn for and blow that thing back. And I can also pack Aqua Tail on my Scolipede to deal with Gligar as well. And then from there, the last thing I really want to do is have extra insurance against the Porygon 2, and that's where my Kommo comes in. So I built with the mindset of those three Pokemon in mind, and the Pokemon I built around those three Pokemon were pretty much just support options at the very least. So to be perfectly honest, in this matchup against Illusion, I'm expecting him to bring Tapu Koko, Infernape, Hydreigon, and then Empoleon, Porygon 2, and the last Pokemon is kind of a toss-up in my opinion between Mega Heracross, because Mega Heracross is just a strong wall breaker in general, and really a number to my team, especially my slower mons. Staraptor, I kind of want to say it can be a possibility because my flying resist is Heatran, which doesn't want to take a close combat, and he has Infernape, and Mega Manectric, which can be worn down fairly easily. So it's pretty much, in my opinion, the first 5 Pokemon plus either Mega Heracross or Staraptor. Both of them are solid brains against my team. So with that being said, I'm just going to jump right into my team, what I brought for this week. Surprisingly enough, I did build this team on my own, just to get back into a mindset of trusting my own build for once. So with that being said, we started off with this Kommo set here, autonomized 3 attacks with Life Orb. This is essentially going to be my win con in this game, because we look at down his team. The only thing that takes hits from this Kommo set is something like a max HP, max defense Slowbro, Physically defensive Gligar, Vileplume, Rhydon if it's at full HP. So I figured I have the ability to wear down those threats fairly easily, and then Kommo can just clean up in the late game. So I'll totemize over Dragon Dance for two reasons. One, I wanted the added power from Adamant would give me, and two, even if I'm at +1, if you bring Scarf and Fernape, it wouldn't matter, I would still be slower. So I figured going all for Totemize to guarantee I outspeed stuff like Scarf and Fernape would be more beneficial for me, which explains my investment here, which is max attack, Adamant Nature, 216 speed ensures that before I'll Totemize, I outspeed Adamant max speed Mega Heracross, and after an Autotomize, I outspeed everything up to Choice Scarf and Fernape afterwards. So this is going to be my win con. Outrage, Close Combat, Earthquake hits everything on his team neutrally. It gets a big hit off on anything, as he doesn't really have a safe switch in to this Kommo set outside of, like I said, Slowbro at full HP or Gligar full HP, which I'm pretty positive I can wear down pretty easily with my the rest of my team. So moving on from there, I want to support Kommo, like I said. So next set we have is our Scolipede, Protect 3 attacks with Mega Horn, Earthquake, Aqua Tail. I did debate for a little bit whether to go between Waterium Z or Buginium Z, but Buginium Z helps in the sense that I can do more damage to Slowbro, while at the same time not risking a Mega Horn miss at the very least. If I really need that big damage off on Slowbro, I can go for it. Earthquake hits the Empoleon, the Infernape, stuff like that, and Aqua Tail hits the Gligar and the Rhydon for a good chunk of damage. And EV spread, pretty straightforward. Max attack, enough speed for Jolly Max Speed Infernape, rest in HP, just my way of trying to get some big hits off with my Scolipede, soften this team up from my Kommo. And lastly, for my Kommo, we have Life Orb, Mamoswine, Ice Shard, Ice Cold Crash, Earthquake, Superpower. Again, very straightforward set. The first three moves are pretty self-explanatory, hits his entire team fairly good. Don't do much against Slowbro because I'm not running Freeze Dry, but Superpower I thought would be better because I do more damage to Porygon 2, because if he traces my Thick Fat, Ice Cold Crash won't be doing anything, Earthquake won't be doing much. I actually contemplate between Superpower and Knockoff, just to get rid of Porygon 2's Eviolite and Gligar's Eviolite, stuff like that. I overall decided to go with Superpower just to get that extra damage off on Porygon 2 because it might come in handy. It also helps me against stuff like Hydreigo without having to risk Ice Cold Crash missing in some instances. But yeah, that's pretty much my Mamoswine in a nutshell. Jolly max attack, enough speed for Jolly max speed Mega Heracross, and everything slower than that. So now we move on to the support part of my team. So that pretty much starts off with my Mew. Just a very straightforward Stealth Rock set with Soft Boil, Psychic, and Knockoff. I originally had Aura Sphere on this Mew over Knockoff, but I figured Knockoff would be nice for a utility option, is to get rid of P2's Eviolite, Gligar's Eviolite, stuff like that. And the move Psychic was originally like Ice Beam, but I figured Psychic would be better for getting off some good damage on the Mega Heracross. And it's not like my Mew is designed to be taking on Hydreigon in the first place, so I'm not really that worried about Hydreigon switching in, because my primary response is to click Knockoff. But in the very least, I am outspeeding Mega Heracross again. Max HP, enough in the rest of the special defense to give it some special bulk against its special attackers, mainly stuff like Empoleon, P2, and the like. So next up, we have our Primarina, Wikiberry again. Hopefully it will do a lot better for me this time. We have Hidden Power Electric, Moonblast, Psychic, and Skull. Just a straightforward 4 attacks here. I originally had Toxic over Hidden Power Electric, but I was kind of annoyed that I wasn't able to hit Empoleon for good damage. So I figured I have Hidden Power Electric to do more damage to the Empoleon, and even more so if I get to fire off Hidden Power Electric and Electric Terrain, which will get off a good chunk of damage. I'm Wickberry here because if he brings Mega Heracross with like Bullet Seed, he would have to get, after like 4 or the 5th hit, I would be in range so a Wiki Bear would activate. I get back to my 50% and I fire off a Moonblast, and I can essentially just wipe out Mega Heracross from the face of the earth with my Primarina. So my investment: max HP, 124 defense, 128 special attack, 4 speed. The speed's just there to avoid speed tying with uninvested Empoleon. The HP and the defense investment ensures that my Primarina can take a gunk shot from a Life Orb Infernape, and the rest it's in special attack to boost the power of its moves. And lastly, we have our Mega Magnetric, just a very straightforward Toxic 3 attack set here. If you notice with my EV spread on my Mega Magnetric, I am not faster than Tapu Koko with my Mega Magnetric, and there's 2 reasons for that. The first one is, even if I do outspeed Tapu Koko, I won't be doing much damage. Like I'll get off a good chunk with Flamethrower, but the main reason why I have my Mega Magnetric slower than Tapu Koko is, one, the added bulk helps me. It helps me take on like stuff like Staraptor, because I don't really have a Staraptor switching on this team. And more so, if I do Volt Switch, I would prefer Tapu Koko to get the initiative, so I would get the slow momentum in my favor and get in one of my offensive threats in pretty safely, at the very least. So that was my idea with my Mega Magnetric. I'm only outspeeding Infernape with my Mega Magnetric, which is the next fast thing on this team, and then everything's slower than that. Special attack just 1 point higher than max speed Timid. Max special attack Timid, Mega Magnetric, and the rest is point to HP. So yeah, that is the team I'm rocking for week number 2. It's the first time I actually built a team on my own. I'm using it on my own. So yeah, here's me trusting my own build for this week at the very least. So let's hop right into the battle and see how we did. So as you see from our matchup here, whoops. My opponent, Lucian, had decided to bring the Porygon 2, the Empoleon, Hydreigon, Tapu Koko, Mega Heracross, and he does bring Rhydon. So, a couple of things to note about this, about his team was, first and foremost, I was actually shocked by 2 things. The first one, no Staraptor, so I don't have to worry about that thing Brave Birding my entire team for free. I mean, I do have the Mamoswine, but I'm still very, very hesitant about Staraptor, and no Infernape, which also shocked me. I figured Gungshot Infernape would make a lot of sense. He has Tapu Koko too, so I guess his idea was to rely a lot on Koko to get rid of Primarina, and then Hydreigon has a lot more free reign in the long run. So what I'm thinking initially here for is sort of a lead matchup here at the very least. So I felt that my best lead, or my safest lead at the very least, would be something like Primarina, because Primarinas have a good matchup against stuff like Hydreigon. If he leads Rhydon, try to get up his rocks, I can force anything out with a Scald. If he goes out to Mega Heracross, then I can pretty much try to get rid of that thing turn 1, which would be great, because one less thing to deal with in terms of a potential wall breaker, and one less thing that can check my my stuff like Mew and whatnot. So yeah, sorry for that little pause there, but let's just start the battle here and see how we fare for this week. So like I said, I'm only up with my Primarina here, and Illusion's going to lead up with Mega Heracross. So I figured, okay, free Moonblast. I don't really care if he goes for Bullet Seed. He goes hard in Empoleon here. I do 70%. I do get a special attack drop, which is fine. So now I'm going to make the play and go out into my Mew here. He reveals he's leftovers, so he's not Sugar Berry or anything. He goes for a Toxic here, so good play on his part. I don't get the Synchronize to activate. So now here I'm going to fire off a knockoff here, get rid of his leftovers, as he makes the hard play into Hydreigon, which is actually great for me, as he reveals that this Hydreigon is actually Life Orb, it's not Choice Scarf. So I don't have to worry about potential Choice Scarf Hydreigon. At the very least, I can still pick a thing off with my Mamoswine. Plus, it also ensures that my Scolipede outspeeds this thing no matter what. So, with that being said, I have the free switch in the Primarina here. I don't care if it predicts me to go into Primarina. It's still a very safe play as he goes for the Dark Pulse here and literally does nothing. 15%, nothing. So I'm going to fire off another Moonblast here, knowing it's going to go into Empoleon here. I don't want to reveal Hidden Power Electric just yet until Electric Terrain is up. So I'm going to double back into my Mew here as he goes for the Skull, trying to get some damage off on my my Primarina. So now this time I think I go for my Stealth Rock this turn as he goes hard in Tapu Koko, expecting me to go for Soft Boiled or Roost. But I get my rocks here, which are crucial to chip down the rest of his team. So now I want to make the play into my Mega Magnetric here as he's going to go for the Substitute. And this is where it benefits me being slower in Tapu Koko here. As I'm going to Mega Evolve here. I'm going to click Volt Switch to pop the sub as he goes for Dazzling Gleam. Does a good 41% here. But I get a Volt Switch to my Mamoswine here and force the thing out, thinking that my Mamoswine is Scarfed. He makes it play into his Porygon 2. I'm going to just fire off an Earthquake because I have no reason not to. It's pretty free. I do about 30% here. He knows I'm Life Orb now, not Choice Scarf, which is fine. Now I'm going to play back to my Mega Magnetric and try to get off a Toxic on this Porygon 2 because I need this thing whittled down as much as I possibly can. So he makes a hard ride-on play, expecting me to Volt Switch or Thunderbolt here. So I'm going to fire off a Toxic. So now the thing's on a timer, it makes it easier for my Scolipede. Now I've gone hard on Mew, he goes for his rocks here. So now let's play, I'm going to go for the Soft Boiled here, and he goes hard Tapu Koko once again. As I go for my Soft Boiled here. So now I'm back at full, but I'm still on timer because of that Toxic damage. So here I believe I go for a Psychic to gauge the damage, or at least to keep this thing and put it into a position where it's within range of my Mamoswine's Ice Shard. He goes for another Roost here, just trying to rack up the Toxic damage on my Mew. And here he's going to reveal the Electrium Z, the Gigavolt Havoc, and to take out my Mew. So it did suck, but at the very least, I get a free switch back into my Mega Magnetric here. At the very least, I kind of contemplated going hard Mamoswine here, but I was thinking in the back of my mind that this type of could have been Grass Knot, so I hesitated for a bit in going for going hard Mamo on the Electrium Z. I didn't want to put myself in a situation where I sack off my Mamo for absolutely no reason, and I need my Mamo for the priority. So I want to make the Mega Magnetric play, and I'm going to click Hidden Power Ice because I felt it's the safest play, and I knew Rhydon was coming back in. So I go for Hidden Power Ice, do a good roughly 28%. So now I'm just going to try to get rid of this thing because one less thing to worry about for my Scolipede. I take something out with an Earthquake, but the Toxic is going to take out the Rhydon, and down goes the Rhydon. So it's a bit of a trade-off, which sucks. But I do get my Mamoswine in for free, and I'm going to go. He's going to go into Tapu Koko here. This is a free Ice Shard for mine case, and he goes and decides to sack off his Hydreigon here because Hydreigon to him is pretty much useless considering I still have my Primarina, and I have this and Scolipede to pressure it. So he makes a Hydreigon sack to get his Mega Heracross in, and I'm like, okay, this is great because if I get damage off on Mega Heracross, it means I don't even have to worry about spamming Outrage with my Kommo just yet. Of course, he still has the Tapu Koko in the back, but at least at the very least I can go for close combat, or I can go into my my Scolipede and just go for the Mega Horn to the Aqua Tail. But I don't know how bulky this Mega Heracross is, so at least I'm going to stay in here, although it kind of is unconventional. I could have went hard Primarina, but I want to keep this thing at a good amount of HP just in case he does have bullets. If he has Bullet Seed, which I'm expecting him to have, I want to keep us in a situation where Wiki Berry will activate and I would live the 5 hits. So instead I'm going to stay in and make the Icicle Crash play, because any damage on this Heracross is good damage, because what it means is my Primarina then comes in afterwards. I click Moonblast no matter what, because if he goes hard in Empoleon, I'm going to reveal Hidden Power Electric that turn because I still have Electric Terrain up. So I'm going to go for the Icicle Crash here as he Mega Evolves. I get off a clean 56% here. I don't get the flinch, but I do get off the damage I need to put it into range of my Primarina, which is where I'm going to go into as my Mamoswine drops to the Blast. And I'm like, okay, if he has Bullet Seed here, he goes for it right now. After getting if he doesn't get any crits with the Bullet Seed, and he gets me to about less than 25%, Wiki Berry's going to activate. I get back up to about 70%, and I get my Pre-Marine for about half, and his Mega Heracross is gone. So here's hoping that I don't get crit along the way with the Bullet Seed, but he's actually gonna go for Rock Blast here, so showing he didn't have Bullet Seed, but Wiki Berry is gonna activate here as I get back up to 70%, take the extra hit, hit the 5 hits, and the Heracross is gonna drop to a Moon Blast. So Mega Heracross is gone. With Mega Heracross gone and Hydreigon gone, I can sack off my Primarina to the Thunderbolt from Tapu Koko, which is totally fine. I get to go on my Scolipede now. Now here is where I contemplated a couple of some plays, because I've seen this Tapu Koko's full move set, or for the very least, because I've seen Substitute Roost, Thunderbolt. He has to have Dazzling Gleam, or else he cannot do much to my Kommo-o. So what I wanted to do was one of two things. Because the electric terrain is gone, Thunderbolt from Tapu Koko won't take out my Scolipede, and I could have clicked for Poison Jab. The other thing I could have did was also go for Earthquake, expecting him to go into Empoleon, expecting me to go for to Mega Horn, but I play it safe this turn. I'm going to click Protect to ensure that afterwards I outspeed with my Scolipede at +1. So he's going to preserve his Tapu Koko and go hard in Empoleon, as he should, as I go for the Protect. So now I guarantee I'm outspeeding Tapu Koko. And now I'm just going to fire from an Earthquake here. I know he's left over, he's got Sugar Berry. I do a good chunk of damage here, but I get him in range of Torrent. I live on 1%, but I get Skull Burned. That's it's going to suck immensely. As if I was able to if my Scolipede hadn't dropped there to the Skull Burn, what would have happened was I would have taken out the Empoleon with the next Earthquake. He would have then went to Porygon 2, and I would have fired off my Bug Z move and forced him to take out my Scolipede. Then I get my Kommo-o in and autotomize, because I need to autotomize regardless, because he had the Koko around. My Kommo-o doesn't outspeed without an autotomize boost. So so my play at this point is I'm behind 1-3. My only play is to autotomize and hope I don't get Skull Burn. If I get Skull Burn this turn, I lose. And pretty much I was already in a losing position already in this game. So I'm gonna go for my autotomize here to get to +2 speed. And he's actually gonna reveal he has the Ice Beam, which does about half. So I'm like, okay, great. So now I get to go for close combat here, take out the Empoleon with a close combat. So we can at least try to bring it back, make it at least a 2-0 loss here. Go for Porygon 2, take the Stealth Rock damage, and he traces my Bulletproof. So I'm doing the calcs on this Porygon 2, and I don't know what spread he's running and whatnot. I'm just assuming he has like some mixed bulk. And if he's mixed bulk Porygon 2, like 128 defense or something along those lines, then I know that this close combat will take out the Porygon 2. But what I didn't calc actually was the possibility of him being max HP, max defense. I only calced it after this battle, and you'll see why in a minute. As I'm going to go for close combat here, and I am going to get the crit, which couldn't have come at an absolute worst time for my opponent, because it turns out afterwards, after we just play this through, as the last Pokemon Tapu Koko, when it's fire off an Earthquake, Tapu Koko's going to drop, and we are going to pick up a 1-0 win. So, to go back to the crit on the Porygon 2. It was revealed afterwards he was, in fact, max HP, max defense, bold nature Porygon 2. And after running the calc with my spread of max attack, adamant, life orb, close combat, the most I did to Porygon 2 in close combat was 81%. So the crit 100% mattered, and it sucks because I didn't want to win in this fashion. I would have gladly taken a 3-0 loss, knowing I played a lot better this week than I did last week. My game plan went well. I got to a point where I can get up a late game and try to go for a late game sweep with the Kommo, and it worked, although there was some hacks that benefited my situation because of the Porygon 2 getting crit. There was also the fact of the Skullbro and the Scolipede, but that didn't really matter in hindsight. I guess it would have mattered more in the very least of I would have gotten some more damage with Porygon 2. He would have been a little bit lower in HP because of the bug in EMZ, or he could have just recovered to scout the Mega Horn damage and whatnot. So it's a lot of hypotheticals. And it's very unfortunate that the battle ended the way it did. Like I said, I would have rather have taken the 3-0 loss than get that crit on the Porygon 2 and win 1-0. Because I felt a lot better with this game, with this game, not only this game, but the matchup in general. I feel as though I built a solid team. I'm glad I did well. I'm glad Kommo put in work. I just wish it didn't come at the expense of a crit helping out my benefit. So it's really sucks, but unfortunately this is the game that we play, and as much as it pains me, not gonna lie, a win's a win. As much as I don't want to win in this fashion, especially considering Illusion did bring a very solid team. He did say afterward that he did feel a little bit awkward the way he preserved the Tapu Koko, but I think he did very solid. He's a solid battler, he's a solid guy. I know you're going to check out his side of the battle too and all that stuff. But yeah, despite that, we pick up our first win of the season. We are 1-1, -4 differential, but still got a long way to go. We still got 8 more weeks to play, and I'm very happy though. Kommo picking up 3 kills in this matchup. The autonomized sweep, late game sweep did benefit. It did work. The rest of my team did help out a lot. Getting up rocks were very, very crucial. Primarina taking out Mega Heracross was also very, very solid. I'm glad the Wikiberry did work this time around. So yeah, we are now 1-1, -4, and before we end it there, heading into week number 3, where we take on Cloud Envy and the Jersey Weaviles, I did make some transactions to my team, which I'll actually go into some detail with. So jumping back to the to Team Builder here. So on the screen you see my transactions. For my team, effective week number 3, we are dropping Mega Manectric, Decidueye, and Hariyama. And in exchange, we are going to be picking up. Let me see. Yeah, so we have we're dropping Mega Manectric, drop Decidueye, drop Hariyama. In exchange, we're picking up Mega Sceptile, we're picking up Mimikyu, and we're picking up Rotom Fan. So the reasoning behind my transactions, Mega Manectric, it's fast, it's decent, but it's like extremely predictable. Like, whenever you see Mega Manectric on a team, you know exactly what it's gonna do. Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Flamethrower, Hidden Power Ice or Hidden Power Grass, or Toxic. There's not much in terms of versatility for Mega Manectric to run. Intimidate and Momentum is nice, but I like my versatility with my Mons, so it didn't really fit with my team. And picking up Mega Sceptile in its place, I have a Pokemon. I retain my Speed Tier. I have Electric Immunity. I have my Grass type, so I have a Ground Check at the very least. But at the very least, Mega Sceptile is a Pokemon I've always wanted to try in League format, and it's not limited to just special. It can do Swords Dance. It can do subsets, stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. It gives me it has a 4 times ice weakness, but I do have a Heatran. I maintain my Dragon Fairy Steel Core with Heatran, Mega Sceptile Primarina, which is also my Fire Warrior Grass Core, which is awesome. So the Decidueye, mainly I picked up the Decidueye because I needed a ground resist, and not saying the Decidueye was bad on my team. I just feel like its roles was kind of overlapped with sort of like what Mew does, at the very least, and it just kind of felt out of place with my specific team. So we dropped the Decidueye and we picked up Mimikyu, which is kind of surprising that it went undrafted. Mimikyu, another Pokemon I never used in League format before. I keep my priority with Shadow Sneak. I have another setup mon with Swords Dance. You can do some other stuff, Will-O-Wisp, Destiny Bond, Trick Room if I need to, but I doubt it. But we'll see what happens whenever Mimikyu comes in the future. And the last thing, Hariyama. Mainly I drafted Hariyama for the fact that I didn't have a status absorber on my team. That's pretty much why Hariyama was there. I did need another fighting type. They gave me another fire and ice resist with Thick Fat, but other than that, there weren't really situations where Hariyama was actually coming to a battle. So, dropping it, picking up Rotom Fan. And the reason for Rotom Fan is mainly because of the fact that I needed to get another hazard removal. With the drop side made, my only way of getting rid of hazards was limited to just Mew. And Rotom Fan gives me a defogger. I maintain my momentum with Volt Switch. It's kind of passive at times because of the fact that it gets access to like Air Slash. It's a decent option, but mainly it's just here to have that hazard. I finally have a flying type, so I have a ground immunity. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the most part. Not really much I could say in terms of my transactions, just with the fact that I'm very excited to use these new Pokemon on this draft, and it's gonna make things a little bit more interesting. I don't have any more free agent transactions afterwards. I could make some trades, but we'll see what happens as from week 3 on, where it goes on. But that's going to be it from me, guys. It's already been over half an hour, but I'm going to stop rambling for now. If you guys did enjoy the battle, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Also, feel free to check out Illusion side of the battle. It will definitely be an interesting watch. I'm definitely interested to see his side of the battle and his thought process and everything, along with the other NPL minors coaches. So yeah, that's gonna be it from me, guys. Hope you had a good day, and until next time, guys, this is Tone signing off for now. Peace out.